To the fake. Shout out to that nosy bitch. You better stay in your place. Get in line, punk. Shout out to the real Alonzo Herran Jr., the royal family. I can't wait to chop it up with him. My thing is, I'm here to learn. I want to learn everything that he knows. Shout out to the real. How you doing, King?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Yo, man, thanks for coming on the show, man. I really, really appreciate you. I really, really, really appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. So tell me about your first book, man. Living with No Regrets. How did you come up with that?
The first book was basically about, it's still kind of volume, kind of low. I don't know why.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but it's like I hear you low. Hold up, let me see. Say something now.
You hear me?
Much better, much better. So yeah, so the first book of Living with No Regrets, it was basically it was a point in my life. My grandfather had wrote this book. He kept saying he was going to write a book before he died, and he kept saying he was going to just write a book, and he wound up dying and never wrote that book. So I remember, one time I was working on this job, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna write a book. Everybody got a story to tell. It's all about how you tell it. So I started writing, going back in my memory years ago, and just writing down bits and pieces of people who I grew up with, and wrote the story around my life to a degree. And just people that wanted, we all came from the projects, but we wanted more. We didn't want to be just another statistic in life, selling drugs, going to jail, coming home, selling drugs, and going to jail. So, I took a lot of people.
I know the feeling.
And a lot of friends of mine who just, who went through that trials and tribulations, and pretty much just put this book together, and I self-published it with a friend of mine. She helped me get it out, and the book, kind of took off. A lot of people was reading it. It was like a good read.
Mm-hmm. So how do you self-publish a book? How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of different companies. There's people that look for book deals, but then they have smaller companies where you can self-publish it, like through Amazon. You got indie books that you can, self-publish it, and you could self-market it. Put your books out there in stores, or you could be out there hand in hand on the street, just hustling and bustling, like Master P used to do
it. How did you do?
Same thing. I was out there, well, I came from in high school. I used to throw parties, so pretty much I kind of built up a little crowd and following. So when I did the book, when I first dropped the novel, I did like a couple of like book party releases where people in different cities and people would come, network, and they would support. They would support the book, and then I wound up putting it online through Amazon, where people worldwide could go in there, order it, and they could just send it out.
So you was throwing parties in high school and stuff.
Yeah, that's where I started out.
It was like, it was just house parties?
Nah, I was always
civic center
renting venues, getting flyers out, and just going to different schools, passing flyers out, and just trying to, get people to come. It was nothing for us to do on Fridays and Saturdays. So, parents felt comfortable, and I started making my money there, just, charging a small fee, and that's how you built up the popularity.
So at what point, right? So after you wrote the book, right, when did you decide, all right, I'm good in the...
Well, I met this guy I know, he's from Jersey as well. He did this movie called Cash Rules, and he had a bunch of talent in there, like upcoming talent, like Tretch and Notori from Power, J.D. Williams. So he was telling me, like, I'm about to do this another joint. He wanted me to invest into his project. And I was like, nah. I said, I got a couple of coins I made on some real estate deals. I'm gonna invest into this book. I'm gonna turn this book into a script, and then I'm gonna try to do my own production. So I wound up meeting this guy named Jamal Hall. He was the director, and he shot an independent film, and we kind of connected. And he was telling me he could help me get this book and get it done, turn it into real life. So that's how we got together. I had a couple of script writers that helped me, turn the book, because, the book is so detailed, it's like 200 some pages. So you got to turn the script all the way down to 90 pages, and you got to cover all of that book into one small script, you know what I'm saying, to keep the audience going.
Mm-hmm.
So we wound up getting that done, and then
Mm-hmm.
we did casting. We had a casting call, and giving local talent opportunities, and I started meeting people that was in the industry like Tretch and Mark John Jeffries and Charlie Baltimore, and rest in peace Black Rob, and my man Jay Parrish. He started
Rest
connecting
in
to
peace.
a lot of people. So we got them in this one film, and made it happen.
So did anybody ever turn you down because you got Clifton Powell on that joint or
Yeah.
no?
Nobody never turned me down from being in the movie. Of course, you know how it is. Some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't support you, but you got to believe in yourself, and keep pushing.
Mm-hmm. So, as terms as getting it out there and zoning, I don't know nothing about making a film, but I'm just saying, how difficult was you putting that project together? That was your first joint. I know you had some help, but you had to quarterback that thing, of course.
Yeah. Of course, I'm always the
Did you
quarterback,
do
but
you direct it?
no, I just executive produce and produce the film. Yeah, I didn't have
All right.
no experience to say I'm a director. I mean, I think people take on titles
Um,
and they don't really know what the job detail of that title. So I'm very particular on when I take on a title and not know what I'm doing. So yeah, I quarterbacked it, but at the same
mm-hmm.
time, it took a lot. It took a lot of people to be involved. Like you gotta think about the production. The sound guy, the camera guy, the person that's the script supervisor. You gotta think about the people
Mm-hmm.
who help you get locations for your film, the people wardrobe, people that gave us props in there to use, cars to use. So it takes a whole team to get a project done. It's not easy, but at the end of the day, you have you want to build in a momentum that people want to. Some people they looking for how they could get on and get paid, but then you get some that want to just get on just to be a part of something great that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did you get a lot of new talent, people just coming off the street,
Yeah,
people that you noticed that,
yeah, absolutely. So
how do you,
the first film, all your boys and the females, they like y'all want to act in the movie, but some people, the reality is that yeah, I gave a lot of Jersey, a lot of the home Norkers opportunities, but sometimes you got to ask yourself that could hurt your project too because people want to be an actor or actress, but what are you doing to help your craft? Are you really taking any classes? Are you really studying your lines? Because that's another thing. We give people a chance and you give them a character, and then you get on set, they don't even remember their lines. So that's drags time. It's
mm-hmm.
just like how serious are you about your business?
Mm-hmm. Did you have to get rid of some of your people that say you had some friends, people you knew in the neighborhood, not so much friends, and you put them on to an opportunity and they just blew it?
Yeah, well, some people just didn't make the cut. Your first film, my first film, didn't know the business, trying to figure it out. And then you have people that come to you and say, listen, man, this guy is not believable. This guy can't deliver the role or the character that you want. So yeah, you have to change
Mm-hmm.
people and just say, listen, this project ain't for you. Maybe another project is. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can't please everyone, is what they say.
Mm-hmm. So, and you were still an officer of the law at that time. So, was it any? Did you get support from the brothers on the police force?
I got a small percentage. If I had to say, I had about from 1 to 10, I probably got about 2% of supporters at that time from that supported me in the process. I mean, the reality is this: that even the ones that you sleep, break bread with, don't even support you. It's always the
This is
people
true.
that don't know you, or knows you from afar away, that will support you. At the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, a lot of people just knew, I stay to myself. I'm very ambitious. I don't run in big cliques, but I breathe and I eat loyalty. So if
Mm-hmm.
even people that didn't support me, I always supported them. But at the end of the day, I got a vet from that unit, the police department. I didn't get a lot of support, no, at all.
Mm-hmm. So I figured that, man. I thought it was just the black community, but you saying in the police force too. So I didn't figure that was gonna happen. I figured
Yeah,
you was gonna tell me that. I figured they would have been out there carrying stuff, donating stuff,
nah, man. I mean, you gotta
trying to
think
get
about this.
involved. I figured all type of shit. That's what my imagination was telling
So nah, yeah, that's the reality is that that comes with the territory, and you got to have tough skin in this game to learn to accept that. Because some people they could that happens and they shy away or they just disappear, never make nothing again. But I believe in myself, man. So I'm gonna just keep pushing regardless if no one else pushes me, or
me.
supports me.
Mm-hmm. So you have a son. Is he in any of your films?
Yeah, my son played in Living with No Regrets, and he played in a King of Newark and a Flashback in the Field. He played like the younger version of the main character.
How is that? How is that? That's a cool experience.
I think it's just because one, I still have a young baby face.
Mm-hmm.
Two,
You definitely
um,
do look young.
yeah. So my son is like my twin, and at the end of the day, so he was able to play little small characters. But even that, like I said, you want to deal with even with children. Like you got some kids that really wants to do this, and you got kids just to say want to be in a movie just to be in the movie. I didn't think my son he didn't take it serious enough, so I couldn't give him a good speaking role like I wanted him to be playing a younger version of me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you got to be
Mm-hmm.
very careful of who you just allow to be in your project because when the eyes of the Hollywood or anybody that's looking for distribution, they pinpoint them small little details to take the film away.
Mm-hmm. So how difficult it is it to get distribution?
Um,
Is that the hardest thing?
it is. Well, the first thing is that you got to make sure your film. Anybody in this day of time, there's a lot of filmmakers, and of course, they get the A for effort. They got it done, but then it's the getting it done the right way. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything counts. Your sound, your lighting. People look at your coloring. A lot of stuff makes a major impact on your film because it's quality control that you got to be able to deliver this project to a Netflix or HBO or Stars. And a lot of people just don't make the cut. Even most of my projects, it just never. Some of the people that said that they had the connection to these outlets that I didn't, I just never it never went
Mm-hmm.
through. And that's another thing too. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these filmmakers is based on who relationships. I can make a project,
Mm-hmm.
I could put stars in my project, I could get it done, but can I say I could put it in the right hands that could walk it into BT? Can I say, can I really have a Netflix connect? No. I have other platform connects, but some of the big leagues that we want, the stars, have those. I don't have those. And
Mm-hmm.
it's still a building relationship. It's still a building relationship.
Mm-hmm. Does that frustrate you a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
You think about when for me walking into this business, not knowing this business, and you rely on the people around you, um, and then when you deliver the project done, because a lot of people talk about getting it done instead of getting it done. So when I deliver
Mm-hmm.
this project and they take it to this person and say, oh, okay, I showed it to my guy at BET and they said they're going to pass on it. Or then you show it to a person and say, my guy was at Netflix, then they're going to pass on it. When you put out your hard money and sweat and tears and they tell you they're going to pass on it, yeah, that's frustrating. You kind of like, damn, I tried once, I tried twice, I tried three times, and where am I getting at? Where am I getting at?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong. I don't knock no one project because I don't care if your project costs 10,000 or your project costs 500,000. You want to make it the best quality and the best looking picture that you could on a budget that you could get it done for. So yeah, when you had no other outlets before Tubi was even around, yeah, those you looking for the Stars, the Lionsgate, the Netflix, and all of those HBO, Cinemax, and you can't get to them. And then some of them saying, "Oh, we looked at the project, but we don't want it. We're not interested." It bothers you. It bothers you a lot. You know.
Yeah. So you said you have tough skin. Is there anything when things like that happen? Did you ever get down and decide, you know what? I know you come back to it because I be doing this. Sometimes I quit, come back to it, quit, come back to it. So did you ever get to the point like, man, fuck this shit?
Yeah, there
Fuck this
was a
shit.
time. There was a time that I remember after the third project, I was like, I'm done. I'm just done. Like I made my money in real estate, and I was just like, you know what, this ain't cutting it for me. So it was like, you know, but then I just, I have it wasn't about the. I mean, of course, anything that you do, you want to make money, you want to make a profit. It's have a passion for this, but there it is a time where you have to get smart in the game. So I had to become smarter. Like my first couple of projects, I was spending over $100,000 for projects. You know,
I was gonna ask you that.
yeah,
I didn't know if that was personal. Yeah.
no, I put it out there. I was spinning over because I didn't, locations, bringing actors here, flying them in, and then your camera guy and your sound, lighting. Everything is a budget. So when people tell me, "Oh, I made a film on 20,000 or 30,000," and I said, "Damn, show me," because at the end of the day, it's either a lot of people was working for real cheap, or maybe someone was sacrificed and said they was a part of the project and they get the bigger wigs once it go, or because you talking about paying actors, you talking about locations, this stuff adds up. But I did become smarter. I became to say, listen, man, some things you could cut out because sometimes a lot of movies have a lot of locations. You know, sometimes you got to cut down on your locations. Sometimes you got to cut down on it depends on some of my films needed visual effects, special effects. So that's another big budget too. When people making you do different things. So if you got a short story and you got a nice sized crew that could get it done on a budget and your locations and your actors together, then yeah, you could get it. You could get some things done at a good reasonable price. But at the end of the day, it was some projects I felt like this was the budget. It was what it was.
So you in Newark? You from Newark?
Yeah, born and raised in Newark. Yes.
So how is that? You know what I'm saying? You was a cop in Newark too?
Yep. Yep. Born and raised in Newark.
And you doing
Born and
how
raised
is
in
that?
Newark.
You know what I'm saying? How is that being that you're doing everything right there? And I'm just always haters, I know that. But a lot of times it's more difficult to do something, where you from. People support you. Do they not? How does it work
Well,
out there?
of course. I mean, like I said, you're gonna have your supporters and you're gonna have your haters, and you're gonna have someone just say, I ain't got nothing to say about them. The bottom line, even from the North perspective, like I said, I'm fair. I'm known in the city. Um, People know me as being a straight up fair guy. People might even how it is. If you from the streets, some people don't fuck with you because you're the police. You know what I'm saying? The difference is for me because I was born and raised in the projects. I treated people fairly. Being a cop wasn't a dream for me. It wasn't something that I planned. It took a one of my street mentors who got killed from the street that told me before he died that basically he saw something in me that he was like, your life is meant bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? So when he got killed, he the one that it was his life that made me push to take the test. He told me it was another guy that told me straight up and said, "Listen, man, a lot of people talk that don't be a police thing, but at the end of the day, a lot of people talk like that because their jacket is messed up. Instead of just saying, listen, just don't change. Be the person who you're gonna be before you was a cop, and be the person you're gonna be when you a cop." And that's why I respected when I retired from a cop. Because at the end of the day, I ain't do nobody wrong. I don't go out there doing stuff for anybody to look at me to say, yo, he treated me fucked up. Most people come up to me that came across Green Street, which is like the jail. They say, listen, man, you looked out for me. You talked to me. You treated me fairly. You see what I'm saying? So it's just about who you are, no matter what position you are in. Like my mayor, he's from the streets, you know what I'm saying? And he treat people the same he was before. He was down to earth when he was out there, not out there hustling, but when he was out there trying to, do his thing. And he's the same man now. He's down to earth. He dressed like us. He's educated, but he treated people the way you want to be treated. And that's what it's about. As long as you do that, I don't have to worry about no one coming up on me, doing any dirt to me. I don't have to worry about nobody hurting my family. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we all could be touched. Let's be realistic. I don't care what level you are. We all could be touched. I got a son out here, man. So I want people to be like, yo, you Lonzo's son, I got you. Your father did good by me. That's the way we're supposed to live.
So what age did you become a cop?
I think I was like 22 around that time,
so
21.
You went to school? So before that,
I went to high school.
How was life?
I went to
you
high
went
school. I went to
Mm-hmm.
high school, but college wasn't me, though. College wasn't for me. At the time, I wasn't focused. Just wasn't my thing.
So when you jumped into the force, have you ever seen something crazy? What was the craziest thing you seen as a police officer? Because you was able to retire. You had to see some wild shit.
I guess for me, walking into a robbery, having a shootout, I've been in a shootout before. I've seen a lot of stuff. Seen dead bodies. I've seen a lot of stuff. But I think the most experience was that. Like I walked into a friend of mine's store on New Year's Eve one year, and I was on the phone talking to my man about what we was doing that night. And when I got to the door met me. She had one of them glass doors where she buzzed you in. And when I looked up, I seen the guy pointing a gun at her. The guy was bagging up the stuff in the middle, and there was a guy at the door with the gun. So when I seen that, that's when I spent off through the door, and they came out the store, and we started shooting at each other. And so it was a crazy experience, man. Like, thank God I'm alive here today.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah. So,
sounds good. Did you have to plug them?
It went wild. It went wild, but I didn't get hit though. Thank God. I had 4 guys shooting at me, and I'm here to tell that story. So.
Was you scared?
To be honest with you, man, and I'm gonna be very 100% with you. I was not scared because it was like when he came out that door and we was faced up and he took that shot at me. My thing in my life was like, it's either going to be me or is it going to be him? You see what I'm saying? I had a son that I had to get home to, So at the end of the day, getting scared, it could happen to anything. You can always walk into something that you'll know and shake up, but I wasn't scared, though. I wasn't scared,
Have you ever had to yoke up one of your cops behind the scenes? I got a friend that's a cop. He said they be getting it popping in the back.
Nah, don't get me wrong. Everybody
that's what he told me.
Well, listen, I've seen it happen. I heard of it happening. I've heard of it. Never say I witnessed it, but one thing I'm like this about, I haven't seen I had a lot of cops that dislike me on the job, at the end of the day. But you know what? I'm going to tell you what I experienced. People talk shit about you, but they never say it to your face. You see what I'm saying? And that's a reality. The people that talk stuff about you in life, they'll never say it to you in your face. Besides one guy, I'm going to tell you the real truth. There was only one guy, one cop, and he was a Hispanic cop. And it was a bunch of them that was like, they ain't fuck with me because I knew a lot of people in the streets and stuff like that. And I knew they was out there doing some shit that they wasn't supposed to do. But at the end of the day, the one cop, the one Hispanic cop, I caught him by himself. And he said, yo, Zoe, he called me, he said, Alonzo, listen, man, on this job, I'm going to back you up. But out this job, I don't fuck with you. He said it just like that. He said, I just don't fuck with you. I choose not to fuck with you. And you know what? I respected him because he was man enough to tell me that instead of talking about it, but telling somebody else behind my back. So at the end of the day, just like I'm pretty sure there's guys that say shit about you. When they see you, they smile in your face. They'll never say it to your face. And it's not about being tough, all that. It's just the point is you have a right to not fuck with me or I'll fuck with you. We don't have to. We don't have, it's not meant, we don't have to like each other. The only thing I'm gonna say, we're gonna respect each other. Because once we disrespect each other, then we coming out the box. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, you know, I know exactly what you're saying.
So there's a lot of people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was times I do know of one officer who I was cool with. Yeah, he squared up another one out, you know, on the side, and it was like that. They shook hands. I mean, they dust off and they went their own way. You know what I'm saying? But you know how it is. I mean, you could do that, and then somebody's gonna put it on paper and charge you. Then you know you always see the other side. But at the end of the day, I stay to myself, man. You know what I'm saying? As long as we don't have to like each other, but we're going to respect each other.
Shout out to the real. So you got 7 projects out right now, right?
I got 6 out right now. I got 6 movies out right now, and I'm about to release 3 more. And we finishing up.
And what's the 3 more?
The 3 more we're gonna. The 3 others that's gonna be released is The Fearless 2. A Father's Pride, and The Fearless 3. And then
Father's Pride and The Fearless 3.
Yeah, then
and they're all complete right now?
They done. I'm just waiting to honestly. I've been in meetings and saying who I'm going to sign with, what distributor I'm going to sign with and use. You know. So
that's what's up. What's the most frustrating after the movie's done? What's the most frustrating post-production thing you got to do?
It's more once we finish shooting, then it goes into post where you got to get your editing done, you got to get your scoring done, you got to get your color corrections done, and you know you want to master your sound to make sure your sound is on piece. So those elements could be. It's all about who's doing the work, because at the end of the day, you know how it is. You pay somebody for a job, but then he's doing 4 other jobs for somebody. He's doing 4 other jobs elsewhere. Then they take your deposit. Then it's like, you know, on a contract, they're going to meet the deadline and they never meet the deadline. So it's like, you know, that's what is frustrating, because we all have a certain time frame we want to release that movie by. You know, you kind of like, okay, it's in post now. We want to have it done in 3 to 4 months. So we're going to prepare for a spring release, a summer release, or early fall release. And just not meeting those deadlines, it could be real frustrating, you know?
So Fearless is mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
I know you got a background in mixed martial arts. You ever competed?
Oh, I competed for 20 years. I competed for 20 years. I started competing.
Yeah.
My last
actively.
Say that again.
Yeah, you competed. You fucked up. You was fucking. Yeah, you competed. You was in the ring. Or, you know, whatever competitions I was doing.
Yeah, like I was doing tournaments since I was like 7 years old. Then I got into like semi-contact, and then I went to full contact. I think my last full contact fight was in 2000 and I want to say 2001. You know, it was a tournament full contact, and I did good. I won, so that was I pretty much kind of gave it up. But then I always felt like I wanted to do one more fight. Like I wanted to do it for my son. Like he never really seen none of that. You know, it was like small clips of when I used to compete when I was a kid. But just to know that, listen, like even him, he's 23 years old. I'm getting ready to be 45 this year. So I wanted to show.
Oh, you're older than me. I didn't expect that.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to show him, like, you know, listen, you know, still got it. You know, still got it. You know, but you know, you gotta be careful, man. It's a different generation out here now, different training. So, you know, but it's a good sport, man. It helped me in life to be disciplined. Help me to just, sometimes you got to just know, you got to learn when to pick your battles. And I think that helped me. Even at the end of the day, I never really worried, like if somebody did talk shit, like we say, I never really let that get to me, because long as they ain't stand in front of my face, because I know how to defend myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to be able to, like, brush it off. They ain't put their hands on you or putting their fingers in your face or coming, to your close boundary, then why even entertain them, man? A lot of people just be talking, and, just looking for a show.
Yeah, a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I understand, because I got a fighter's background too, and I want one more myself. I want one more just for
Yeah, just
myself.
for
I want to
yourself.
get back
Yeah.
in. I blew
Yeah.
a lot of opportunity. I blew a lot of opportunity, period, in life. But definitely, my fighting is one thing that I blew, and I always wanted to make it up to myself. And I see a lot of leads that's dedicated to our age, and I definitely want to get it back in. I definitely
Definitely.
want to get it back in one more time. And I'm still, being that you speaking that, I'm still gonna hold on to that dream.
Yeah, man.
So let me ask you something. You got classic movies. Yeah, classic movies. Was there one classic movie you would like to redo?
Yeah, I would like to do three. I would like to do The Fearless One, and I would like to do Living with No Regrets again.
Mm. And why is that? Just because
I think
you was inexperienced, or?
very areas in the Spanish. Remember, I got no background in arts as far as media or camera. I had a vision, but I didn't have the experience of what or how would or the storyline where it go. Because, like, remember, I did Living with No Regrets, not thinking there was going to be a King of Newark. I did King of Newark, then not realizing there was going to be as a possibility for King of Newark too. The Fearless One, I didn't think it was going to be a 2 or 3. So if I had the vision, if I had the vision and what I knew I was going to do, like, I'm pretty sure when what's the name made Star Wars, he knew how he was going to take the story. He knew he was going to go back in time and do the younger version. You see what I'm saying? So with
I
my
know exactly
vision,
what you said.
I know how I would have started that story, started that movie off, and where I would have left the cliffhanger at, and told it a lot better than what I did. But it's a learning experience,
So,
go ahead.
So Fearless is a trilogy.
Yes.
So how did you put that together? How did the characters evolve? Is it different characters, or is it the same people? What?
Well, yeah,
I'm about to get into all this now.
The first
I was
one,
just watching a little bit.
the first all right, so the first one and two, yeah, it's about the same characters. Like I said, my background martial arts. I love the original Karate Kid, The Last Dragon. So I watched a lot of those movies and just wanted to come up with another urban hood classic to that level. But like I said, when I jumped into the film, I didn't think that there would be a part 2 and part 3. I thought it was going to be, just it was an accomplishment. It's done. But then, meeting other writers that I came across, they said you could carry the story this way. You should go with it this way. And I just jumped in bed doing it.
So how does it end?
As an end,
Yeah.
you gotta watch the movie, man.
I'm gonna watch it all. I like to know everything. I'm type to
man.
know it and still
Those are
watch it.
questions. You should be telling me. I saw the movie. I saw Fearless 1. I'm waiting for Fearless 2.
Man, if I told you what I was going through right now, you wouldn't believe me, man. So
Listen,
I'm just
bro.
happy to be here speaking it to you, man.
I'm going through stuff too, man. Matter of fact, this year alone has been the worst business year of my life, and but you learn a lot of things. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful, I'm still blessed, and a lot of people else that's out there, and you realize, like, people that you really could count on, and you look to build with. A lot of people just, they ain't there. The people that was there, they was there for the hidden agendas, but they wasn't there really to support you or grow with you together. So I'm in a prime, I'm in a transition state of my life now. Like at the end of the day, when I walk into 2023, if God blessed me to be alive, there's a lot of people that, I'm not going to change who I am for no one. But at the end of the day, I just got to build with people who has the vision and want to do right. I want good company around me. I don't need bad energy, bad company, and I just want to keep all that away from me if I could,
3 things that got to happen in 2023 to make it the year that you want it to be.
You asking me what are the 3 things that got to happen?
Got to happen in 2023. You might want to get married. I don't know. What's got to happen?
My 3 things I want to happen. I want to be able to, for one, I took a new position with the city, so I'm an assistant manager of a division of a code enforcement, which it is a job that I love, that I wanted to do. So I want to change the morale. I want to help my inspectors grow, might become homeowners. I want to change the morale where it ain't 2 different cliques. I just want to support the mayor's vision to better the city. That's 1. 2, I want to be able to continue to do more films. Hopefully, I want a Lionsgate or a company to look at me and say, listen, I see what you're able to do with your own money. Now we want to support you and throw some real money behind you. That's that. And I want to just grow in the real estate game. I just want to be able to grow, and God willingly, I want to make sure my son is good before I leave, my granddaughter, my family. I want to be able to touch people and help them grow as well. That's always been my plan, man. Not just make money and just live life and think about me, but give other people opportunities, the people that didn't give us the opportunities to be where we could be at, but help others grow and collectively, and that's all I want to do, man. Those are my 3 biggest things, man.
Cool. How do you see yourself, man? How do you see yourself when you think about yourself at 45? How do you look? How do you see yourself?
At 45, I think I accomplished a lot. I think I live a lot. I travel. I have my own property. I'm pretty much not, I think I'll say 100% healthy, but I'm in good health. I think I'm okay. I think we all have our problems. We all have our ways with each other. But at least I can admit that with my wrongs, and I'm willing to change whatever wrong that I've done. I just want to be able to just, I feel like I'm an okay guy. I gotta say, I don't think I'm a fucked up person. I think that I'm okay. I made some mistakes, but overall, I think I'm a fair guy.
All right. So you got political ambitions?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah. I do.
Yeah. Where are you trying to take that?
I don't know what the future might hold. I mean, it might be a future councilman. I might think, try. But like I said, my loyalty is to my mayor, and I hope that he supports my vision down the line when that time comes. So that's where I stand at. But yeah, I think one of my last things before I actually say I'm retired to work another job is that I might want to run for office for councilman. Yeah.
That's what's up. Give me your top 5 movies.
Top 5 movies. Like I said, it's a movie called No Retreat, No Surrender. Last Dragon.
I gotta go check this out. Last Dragon.
That's a classic.
Classic.
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. I love Rocky 4. Yeah.
The cartoon version of the Transformers movie.
That's top 5. These are top 5.
And Crush Groove.
Crush Groove. That's classic. That's classic. Have you ever seen another book, not necessarily yours, that you would like to make into a movie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I got one of my writers from Newark who inspired me to push to write my book. His name is Alonzo D. Banks, and he wrote several books. Block Party. He wrote this movie. He wrote a book called Block Party. I think
I read Block Party.
Yeah, Block Party was dope, man. So that and another book called No Exit was real good. So those two books I would definitely
I read that in jail too.
Yeah. Those are two books that I would like to turn into films myself, you know?
You ever read Standing at the Scratch Line?
Nah.
I think it's by Guy Johnson. It's by Maya Angelou's son. It's Standing at the Scratch Line and Echoes of a Distant Summer. You got to go check. It's thick though. It's like 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
But after I read, it's a black book that's about powerful black people. It takes you back to slavery. And this guy, King Tremaine, he was official, but he had principles. And he was he was raised in a time where it was a lot of slavery, basically when slavery was just ended. And black people was able to move on his own. He wasn't taking no shit. And he was all about black families staying together. There's a message in it. Go check it out if you have the time, man. Standing at the Scratch. So after that, I stopped really reading her novels unless I was really bored. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a big reader myself. But Standing at the Scratch Line, Echoes of This Summer is part 2. It goes back and forth. And it's a whole family. The grandmother, the grandfather, they all official. They make money. They going against the mob. And it's about powerful black figures, but it's about doing things the right way. And it's a great book. It's a great book. You gotta check it, man. You gotta check it. Yeah. So I got off track with the damn book. I'm thinking about it. The Jersey series, man. What's that about?
So the Jersey series is more like King of Newark 2. It was a continuation of King, because if you look at it, like I told you, when I got into the film thing, I didn't think there was going to be a part 2 or 3. So Living with No Regrets is the first story. Then Living with No Regrets is King of Newark is the Living with No Regrets, really the sequel to it. And then King of Newark 2 is the Jersey series. Because, at that time, people were saying, everybody looking for a series. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try that. But I think some things you should just keep as a movie. Just like if everybody's looking for King of Newark 3. And it's in the works, it's written. It just wouldn't be I don't know thing about making the writer wants it to be a 5-part series, like a mini series, but just 5 episodes. So, like I said, but like it needs a budget, man. A lot of things like now I don't want to do unless it has a nice budget behind it, because there's a lot of things detail, I just want to be detailed. So I'm trying to see, hopefully, with these next 3 projects that I'm about to release. And then in the summertime, we got Mr. Commodore movie, Not My Day. That's the first comedy movie that we shot. So between those 4 projects, I'm looking for a big deal. Somebody to get behind me and say, look, man, we want to support you. We want to throw some money. We believe in you.
You shot that movie already?
We shot that. We shot that with
Mr. Commodore.
Yeah, we shot that in June. We shot that in June.
How did he do?
He did good, man.
How did he do? Was he funny?
He's good, man. He's very talented. He's very talented. He's a visionary, for one, and he's dedicated, man. Like, he believes in himself. He gets on the grind with me. We did a comedy show last year, and it was I gotta say this, man. It was like walking when I was with him, because he was in a small clip in the last movie I did, A Second Chance, I just released. So he was in like 2 scenes in that movie. But when I got to know him and got to really know him, he's like walking in the streets. He's like a Denzel Washington, man. Like, everybody takes them. Everybody knows who he is. From Fresh Out or just the Instagram influencer. They take them, and he's down to earth, man. He's really, one thing I like about him. He's like me, because I don't care how big I get. I'm never too good to get on that street and pass out that flyer. I'm never feel like I'm too big to don't do anything no more. Because all aspect, any promo helps yourself grow. So, he's definitely a visionary, man. He's good. Don't get me wrong. We had our times, like everybody else. You have one of your times on set when you want things your way, and he has his own way. But you know what? we got it done, man. We got it done collectively. He had a lot of his other influences come on board and support the project. And once that drop, man, I think it's going to be a major deal, man. A major.
Shout out to him, man. You never wanted to do Jersey Drive over?
We talked about doing Jersey Drive, over incorporating that into something, yeah, because it's just a lot of times like when people do these Jersey films, like New Jersey Drive. I know you read Dutch, right? Did you read Dutch?
Yeah, I
So
read some of them.
so when I saw the movie, it just like the story. It was like you know it just we gotta put our stamp, man. We gotta put our stamp. I think Jersey is that time. We gotta leave our stamp, like paid in full, man. Left his stamp for New York, Harlem. You know what I'm saying? New Jack City. They left their stamp. We Jersey need that, man. Jersey need that. We got enough talent. We got Rock Davis. We got J.M. Benjamin from Jersey. We got Alcee D. Banks. We got Alonzo Herran. We got, it's a bunch of filmmakers here, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Yeah,
I
I
just had
feel you.
we just created a group called the Tri-State Entertainment Co-op group. So we all came together and we're going to network and come together. We was because like I said, when you watch Black Panther, you see a lot of people in those credentials, but you don't know who they are. But they collectively put their effort in there to make a good project, man, where we all could break bread and get the recognition and do something that's going to leave Newark and leave Jersey to say, boom, that shit was shot in Jersey. Look at Paid in Full. It was like almost 30 years later. That still everybody know that. New Jack City, you gonna always know that.
Yeah, it's classic. It's a
New
classic.
Jersey Drive.
New
But
Jack
look, New
City
Jersey
classic.
Drive, it's the classic, but it wasn't shot like it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Bring the original car thieves. We want the original car. We ain't showing no real car
Why
stuff.
wasn't it shot?
You know what I'm saying? But
Nah, they ain't show no real car
yeah,
stuff.
man. And it wasn't shot in Newark. It wasn't shot in Newark. It was shot in New York.
I thought it was. I don't know shit though.
Saying?
Yo, yeah. So plug yourself in real quick.
Yeah, it's Alonzo Herran, Jr. from IG, Royal Family for Instagram. Like I said, the name of my company is Royal Family Films. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Just come support. Go check out all the movies. Living with No Regrets, King of Newark 2, The Fearless One. Look out for The Fearless 2, A Father's Pride, and The Fearless 3 coming, and Not My Day in 2023.
All right, one more thing, man. Say shout out to the real Highly Dysfunctional.
Yes, shout out to Highly Dysfunctional. And one thing I gotta say about you, man, all you social medias people out there. One thing I can say, this guy knew me. This guy talked to me. He reposts my trailers. He support me. That's what it's about. That's the simplest thing you could do. Is a free thing is repost. We're not looking asking you to spend no money. Support each other, man. And that's what it's about. So I appreciate you, and I want to tell you that directly, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Always a pleasure.
I can't wait to chop it up with you again.
Yeah.
So I know you got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Shout out to the real Highly Dysfunctional. I'll talk to you again, King.
Out.